Hey, it's Les from Comfortable Shoes Studio. Welcome to another episode of Art Making. In this episode, I'm going to make more of my own decorative tapes with medical paper tape or paper medical tape, a silicone glue mat from Dollar Tree, acrylic paint, and in this case, Chart Pack rub-ons and the rub-on decals from Dollar Tree. All right, so I'm starting off with a couple of different shades of yellow, the tail ends of a couple of yellow containers that I have. I'm trying to get a real even coat of yellow paint. I just want an even, smooth coat of paint for this particular technique. All right, so I have these Chart Pack rub-on letters. I found them in the trash somewhere. I don't remember where. It might have been when I was dumpster diving. But yeah, I pulled them out and I've been using them ever since. So I used a heat gun. I will tell you that is a mistake. Just let your acrylic paint dry naturally. If you use a heat gun on this paper tape, it has a tendency to adhere really well to the silicone, but not to the tape. It separates from the tape and it makes a mess. But to get the Chart Pack rub-ons or any other rub-on to actually stick to the acrylic paint, you have to wait for the acrylic paint to be completely dry. If it's not completely dry, it's not going to stick. You probably noticed I put my tape really closely together on the silicone mat. And that is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, you get all this sort of like, I'm calling it flashing. It's like little extra acrylic paint that sticks all over the place, sticks to the edges of your tape, and looks really ugly. So avoid that by packing as much tape onto that silicone sheet as you can. So this is a Dollar Tree rub-on decal set. Works pretty well. It's not as dark or as smooth as the Chart Pack, but it does work quite well. So here I'm using a bone folder to rub it on, and that works really well. Also, I didn't have to use nearly as much pressure on this as I do the actual Chart Pack, and I think it's because these are really fresh. I know Chart Pack will always work, but the older your Chart Pack is, the less well it works. So these are super fresh, super new, and work really well. I was pretty pleased with how well this rub-on worked. I don't know what it's made out of, but it does a good job. So I got a couple of different versions of this, and they work great. All right, so I am making a mistake here. I'm using my alphabet and number stamps that I hand carved. You can check that out in a previous episode. And I'm using a pigment-based ink, which, if you know anything about rubber stamping inks, pigment-based inks gotta be heat set, otherwise they never dry. Yeah, this is a mistake. Stays on ink would work really, really well here. And that is absolutely what I would use in the future. Also, if you do use inexpensive erasers to carve, any variety of eraser really, you want to keep them nice and clean. So I've got a baby wipe here, and I'm just giving all that pigment ink a nice little wipe off. It will stain the pink. You will never get that out of the cheap eraser, but you can get a lot of it off. The longer it sits, the worse it is for the eraser. These erasers are pretty sensitive, so they work great for making rubber stamps, but hard to clean off. A little more sensitive than some other erasers. So here again, heat setting it, and there are a couple of points where I don't think you'll be able to see it in this video, but the tape actually lifts up and away, because you have to get this pigment ink hot enough to move. And I just gave up and ran a blotter sheet over the top of it and then hit it with the heat gun again. These numbers ended up working quite well. So here I got some kind of random tapes in a nice shade of yellow with some black on it, which is always a combination I dig. So I went and got some more parchment paper and putting the rest of my tapes in there. And you can see how it just sort of makes it a little random and very cool. So these are really fitting my aesthetic. Super stoked at how good they are. They've been working really, really well. I hope that you found this helpful and maybe you'll institute this DIY into your art journaling. And I hope you found it helpful. If you did, hit that thumbs up and share it on your socials. And I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time. Thanks and bye.